Let's face it, this is going to be a weird one. Hey, what's going on? It has been about a year since I have released a proper video and about 2 years since I have recorded to any kind of schedule whatsoever. So I'm here to make this video because, as it does every year, it's that time of year where if you're not a student and you're not successful, it's the worst part of the year. It's the time when your Adobe runs out and you need to refresh it. And having not made a video in so long, I just thought I should make this video before my current Adobe dies. Whether or not I renew the Adobe I have now to keep Premiere, because I haven't made a video in 2 years. 2 years, it's a long fucking time. I started this YouTube channel back when I was like 15. Wow, that was back in like 2012, I think was that first video. And it's to get to this point where nothing has happened on the channel, but a lot has happened around the channel is really weird to think about. My name is Taryn Boswell, and I only ever got 156 subscribers on YouTube. When the channel first began, it was just really me and my cousin Mitch. We've done a lot of videos together, but starting off, it was just weird drawing videos that I did in my downtime. Eventually, of course, we got to game videos like Friday Night Frights and stuff like that. Me and Mitch, as we got older, were able to do more videos together, and I got more of my friends together, and we basically became the Dodgy Aussies. There's the 6 of us. Mitch moved down to Melbourne, and he has a daughter now, and I think he's just moved back up to Queensland. But naturally, of course, with his daughter, he doesn't have time to be in videos as much as he used to. We still do play lots of games together, and you know, he's family, so we're always going to keep him around. Jake's also had a kid, and I haven't seen him in a long time. I've never met his kid or anything like that. I hope he's doing alright. Eli is still in town. We're still good friends. We see each other at least once a week and hang out and all that stuff. Play games together, but I doubt I can bring him back onto this sinking ship of a channel. Philip was a good pal of mine from high school, and we basically hired him as our graphics designer. He's the one who's done all the art for the channel so far. Other than that, he wasn't really in any videos, but we still loved him because he was such a good friend from high school. Last I heard of him, he was doing the graphics and the art for an indie project game called Witch. So if you ever see that around, go check that out because that's what he's doing now. Maddie moved to Canberra, so she's hardly available to be in videos at all. But no, she still comes back like once every couple months, and we go down to see her, so it's good. I hope she's happy down. Cass, I haven't seen in probably years. It's been a long time. She was super supportive, the whole thing. She was amazing to have around. Everyone else I had to kind of convince to be on the channel and convinced to be in videos. The second I told her I had a channel, she was immediately down for it. She's been in so many videos and she was so helpful for a lot of it. So I haven't seen her in years, but I heard that she's happy. She's still in town, I think. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, I hope she's happy, and she's obviously moved on with her life, so I probably can't get her back onto this channel either. Oh god, this video is way more depressing than I thought it would be. Jared, the poor bastard, joined the channel and was in it for like 2 or 3 videos, and then that's when we really dropped off and just stopped making content altogether. Last I heard, he's joined the army and he's not able to play games or be in videos at all. But no, I hope he's good and everything's alright with him. Looking back on all the videos I've made, it's really weird because like 90% of our views did not come from our subscribers at all. It all came from random people, and it's just, you couldn't pick what videos were going to do well, what videos weren't. Like, the amount of time and effort I spent on all these videos, just could not pick which one was going to make it, which one wasn't. Like, you do what everyone else tries to do, and you try to come up with your playlists and you save videos, like the same content you make each week, just make it different. And like, one would just blow up compared to all the others, and you were like, so do you like the format, or do you just like this one video? It was just nuts to think. Like, I couldn't pick out what my top 5 videos were. Yeah, this is number 5. This was one of the like informative videos we tried to do. Like, we did a bunch of those and they always did well. I should make more of those, but unfortunately we're not interesting enough to really get news about games before anyone else. This is another weird one. This is back from... God, I gotta turn this down. This was back from 2013. This was one of the drawing videos I did before I started making game videos. It's really weird to me that this is one of my top. It's super old and not great quality. This video has always bothered me that this one's done so well. This is number 2. No, number 3, sorry. This is, it's always been very weird that this is a really good video to me because it's so old and the quality's so bad. Like, it was before I knew anything about how to, like, the technical side of video editing. So it's super hard to look at. The intro's bad, our camera audio quality's bad, but for some reason it just took off. This is probably one of the first game videos we ever did, and it just took off. Ah, yes, of course. The ESO videos. This was probably one of the more fun videos I had making. Just this series of videos was really fun to make, and it was definitely quantity over quality, and I do feel bad for that because it was just, I would play the game, divide it into 25-minute segments and call it a part. It wasn't very creative, but it was a lot of fun making them still, just coming up with the titles of the videos and whatnot. And this one always did very well. The other ones didn't. They all crashed and burned. This one did very well, and I know why. It's because at this point in the game I was doing a quest where werewolves were taking over the city, and I called it City on the Brink. Little did I know, City on the Brink is the name of a quest in one of the DLCs, and at the time it was super hard to figure out where to get to the quest area. No one could do it, so everyone looks up City on the Brink ESO, how to get to, and it would come up with this video that had nothing to do with it. So it was just complete accidental clickbait, and it worked. I do feel bad for that one. Okay, so this was one of the ones where this was another informative one where on Xbox One, when The Witcher 3 first came out, there was a big glitch that deleted all your saves, and I got hit by it, and I found the answer and I made a video on fixing it. This one blew up. This is definitely number 1. This one blew up at 3,000 views. Compared to everything else we have, where we have like an average 19 views. This was insane. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about this one. It's kind of weird that this is my top 1. You know, it is weird to make this video looking back and only having 150 subscribers at our best peak when we had 6 members, we had a graphic design artist, we got so many, like 180 videos or something like that. It's just insane. And you know, to only ever reach 150 is kind of disheartening and disappointing when you see other channels out there that have like a 30-second clip of Call of Duty and they put a Hoodie Allen song over it and it just blows up, takes off, and they've got like thousands of subscribers. And you know, to put so much effort into a channel that only got 150 was really weird. YouTube was a very weird thing because, of course, when I first started it back when I was like 11, I had a different channel called I'm not going to mention it because you'll never find it. But I had that channel, and back then, obviously, the goal was you get on YouTube, you get famous. That's what Ray William Johnson did. That's what the Yogscast did, all that kind of stuff. And then as I got older, probably more towards 2017 and stuff, I was in basically the hype of all the stuff we were doing, but I didn't want to be YouTube famous anymore. The step then was YouTube was a stepping stone to get to more famous, you know, voice acting, stuff like that. And acting and all that kind of stuff. And then you get to 2018, 2019, and you see YouTubers that have gotten into acting and voice acting, and they're just so bad. They're just not good. And you know, you have that feeling of, did you pick the wrong starting point with everything else? But it was really weird because that's how I always felt for so long, in that YouTube was a stepping stone for all the other stuff. So I never did make YouTube the big stuff. I did so many big things around YouTube, not on YouTube. I got picked up by a really small network to do a documentary on Pokemon Go when it came out, and I spent $8,000 of my own money to travel around all of Australia doing a little documentary series of how Pokemon Go's changed everything, and I did it, and it was great. And then I came home and I just didn't get the views and a bunch of other stuff. I went to a party. See, the network said I could release the series on my YouTube, but the series technically belongs to their network. And they had a whole deal to get all this merchandising done. and I wore one of the test shirts and I wore it to a party, and I got way too drunk, and I ended up pantsless wearing the shirt in a bunch of pictures in a bathroom. And then for like my 19th birthday, one of my mates that was at the party just kept posting the picture to Facebook, and the network saw it, and the documentary series got cancelled before it ever got finished. So me and that guy are still somehow friends, even though I'm pretty sure he ruined everything. And there's other stuff too. Like when I did that documentary series, when I was staying in Sydney, the hotel I was staying in was actually the same place that they were filming Germany's Next Top Model at the time, and I met this guy who was working the cameras there, and I just talked to him for a little bit. He was working the lights and cameras, and then like a year later, this was back when I was working at McDonald's, he calls me one day out of the blue and he's like, hey, if you can get to Sydney in the next 12 hours, we're doing an ad for Just Dance Free. Do you want to be in it? And I went down and I did it. I had to go and nimble and get a loan of like $400 to go down on such short notice, and I did it, and I got there and they had us off in pairs and they paired me up. I was so fat at the time. They paired me up with this really serious Italian dancer who was so good, and I couldn't keep up at all, and I don't think that trailer ever got released for good reason. If it did, I'd probably be the one, like the butt of the joke, the one they'd make fun of the most. And along that line also was obviously the failed Kickstarter we did when, if I'm being totally honest, we tried to blatantly rip off Rooster Teeth and their success with Red vs. Blue. We tried to make I can't even remember what it's called, a machinima of Grand Theft Auto called Gang Attack, and it was going to feature two rival gangs that have to get together to stop a criminal organisation taking over the city, which is, now that I think about it in retrospect, a complete rip-off of Red vs. Blue. But we put a lot of time and effort into that, and we made a Kickstarter, and it didn't work. That failed too. But then looking at other Kickstarters and where I wanted to be using YouTube as a stepping stone to get somewhere, there was a lot of other Kickstarters, and one of them offered a perk to be a voice actor in it, and I jumped at the opportunity. I was so excited, and I ended up paying like $285 for the perk tier, and I got flown out to Melbourne, and I went to do the voice acting, and I was really excited because it was my first experience in the whole thing, just wanting to do voice acting. They put me up in this hostel, and when I got there was no room on the floor at all. Like the roommates I was staying with had completely taken over the floor, bags everywhere, none of the lockers were free, so I had all my bags, my computer and all that kind of stuff. So I had to throw them on top of my bunk and basically sleep with all my stuff. I had like 20 centimeters of bed space max to myself, and I don't know, it didn't bother me. I was really fine with it. I was really okay with it because you see all those interviews of celebrities when they talk about what, they're talking to Letterman or whoever it is, and they're like, what was your first gig? What was your first job like? Oh, it was horrible. There was nothing to do. It was full of bugs and it was so uncleanly. And I was just so happy and content sitting in my little 20 centimeters of space, because I was like, this is the story I'm going to tell years from now when I'm on whoever's hosting it at that time. And I got an IMDb page at 20, which was huge. Huge achievement, even though it's just a producer and voice acting thing, because the reality of it was the voice acting thing was just a supporting role where I was a commentator for a beer pong match, and I don't think the show ever even got made. I think the trailer came out, it got cancelled, and now I can't find the trailer. I've never found it since. And you know what, from my memory of listening to it and watching to it, I'm not even 100% sure they kept my lines. They might have redone me, because I was super nervous being in that booth. It was so serious for a first encounter, a first experience. It was so nuts to be in there. Everything about it, I wanted it to be my life, because it was everything I loved. But then since then, I don't think I ever did anything towards this path at all. That was definitely around the last time I uploaded YouTube. That was 2018. Of course, there's the people that do watch and do like it. Like there's, I guess even with the lowest channels, you still get people that are like watching it. Like, there's this guy who always commented rap songs into comments. It was really weird. And when I did the documentary series around Australia, when I was in Melbourne, one of the challenges I did, because I did challenges for each state, one of the challenges I did was rap jumping, which is the opposite of climbing up a building. It's running down a building with the wire attached to you. And I did that challenge, and the group I did it with, there was this little kid, and I had to explain to him why I was doing it covered in cameras. And I was like, oh, I'm a YouTuber, I'm, filming this documentary series, I'm doing it all about Pokemon Go, ha ha ha. Like, I let him play Pokemon Go on my phone and everything. And at the time I had all these business cards made up, and I gave the family a business card, like, yeah, check out the video when you can. When it comes out, that one never came out. Oh, fuck, that one never came out. But I remember getting an email a couple of weeks later, and it was just from the mum of this kid. And apparently the kid wouldn't stop talking about it, talking about meeting me and waiting for the thing. And he followed the channel, he followed me on Instagram, all that kind of stuff. And every day it was just a comment in a video like, when's this coming out, when's this coming out, when's this coming out. And I just couldn't explain to him it's not coming out because my pants fell off at a party. I just couldn't do it. And he's older now. That was 4 years ago, so he's probably in high school now. He probably understands. He probably looks through his internet history, sees me, sees that he subscribed to me on YouTube, and he follows me on Instagram. It's like, who is this absolute loser? And there's other small voice acting stuff in between there that I didn't get out there. Definitely didn't succeed, and I don't think would ever be on an IMDb page. A couple times. I was in an abridged series. There was abridged Yu-Gi-Oh, and then there was a lot of ups and downs. A lot more downs than ups. There was one project I remember probably mid-2016 that someone reached out to me to be in. It was definitely like a low-level YouTube thing to be in. And he was basically making up this whole animated series based around YouTubers that would live together, and all the characters would be based upon our real, actual YouTubers. And when he pitched the idea to me, he asked me to pitch my character back to him. And, I pitched like the stereotypical gamer YouTuber, stays at home, does comedy videos, blah, 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 does all that kind of stuff. And then he said, I need a flaw. I need something that's wrong with your character. And I said, I guess if we want to base it off character and you need a flaw, I have ADHD, and, I struggled to make friends when I was really younger, and then kind of clicked and got the whole making friends and everything. But, I had really severe ADHD, couldn't concentrate on anything in the room. And his response to that was, awesome, we can make your character retarded and everyone can laugh at him. And I was just, what? Like, what kind of show are you making? What are you talking about? And, obviously I wasn't the first one that did this, because we had like a Facebook group where all the members of the network could talk. And eventually I saw a post from this guy, and he just said, all of you people are backlashing so much about my pitch for your characters, and you hate it all so much. Do you know how hard it is to come up with a series and also be a porn star at the same time? And immediately when he said that, I was just like, oh shit, this is a crazy person. I cannot do a project with this person at all. He's going down. Tying myself to that is tying myself to a goddamn anchor and just falling. So I backed out of that project so quick. That was definitely a down. First it was get YouTube famous, and then you look at like how a lot of YouTube people were and everything they made, and just where they are now, what kind of people they are now, and where they didn't get far ahead. And you can always tell when you watch a movie and it's got a YouTube actor in it. You can just tell they're not good. And then that was what stopped me from wanting to be famous, YouTube famous, and decided to steer off and try and be actual famous, become an actor, become a voice actor. And then you look at 2020, everyone hates them. Everyone hates famous people. It's so weird. Like, everyone who's rich or everyone that's made it is selfish arsehole. Is just not. Everyone who worked for it suddenly doesn't matter that they worked for it. Suddenly they're terrible people, and they're the reason that you're failing in life. And it's just, it's really weird to see the general public take what your dream career was and then suddenly turn around and say everything about your dream career makes you a terrible person. And it's really, really strange. I've gotten in fights over this, even with some of my best friends, about like oh, you still want to be famous, you still want to be rich and famous. I was like, yeah, that's all I want, and I don't think, like, I think you can be a decent person and be rich and famous. It's not a difficult concept. And just, you know, for people to shit on your dreams so much, it's nuts. Me and my cousin, every Christmas, what we would do is we'd arrange for him to come down for a week at Christmas, and we would just spend a whole week filming. There was just nothing else being done but filming. You know, in my room we had a TV, a microphone, an Xbox, and that's what I made work to make all these videos. And then when he would come down, he would stay in my room, we'd pull out a mattress, we'd call up everyone else who had something to do with the channel, and we'd just be like, come over, we're filming for a straight week, and it's all we're gonna do. And we'd somehow turn that room to like 6 TVs, 4 microphones, like 8 computers, and everyone just had a different chair. We had like a camp chair, a Wiccan chair, a computer chair, a gaming chair, and we'd just record for a week, and I wouldn't stop editing until February. So that's definitely one of the ups. That's a great memory to have. And you know, we'd all go out for lunch afterwards, so that's cool. Looking back, knowing there's the documentary and all the funny stories and having everyone together as a group, and the letter from the fan and Germany's Next Top Model, and getting an IMDb page at 20, which was such a crazy thing for me, such a crazy concept. It's really nuts that I only had that many subscribers and still had such a great career, I guess you could say. Just something definitely to be proud of, you know, looking back on it. How crazy it is to try and think that you can do it again or anything like that. It's just nuts. My name is Taron Boswell, and I only ever had 156 subscribers on YouTube. And I don't know what I'm doing next.